Yo, how's it, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for tuning in to Story in a Song by Songwriters South Africa. Like how we do it on every episode, we bring you some of your favorite South African songwriters. And on this episode, we have an award winning songwriter. From credits from artists like Lundi Kyamaga, Berita, Tembisile Ndaga, Tulani Mangoma, Putuma Tiso. Those are just a few of the artists he's written for. So join me in conversation as I sit and chat with Smama and hear his story, his songwriting processes, and what inspires him to be the kind of songwriter that he is. Butuam,
Yes, buddy.
thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, eh?
Did I mention that he's also a medical doctor? So I don't know whether I should call him Dr. Smama or it's just Smama. Or when you're a musician, do you just prefer to be called Smama or do you prefer the doctor? Because in the bazogqirha and protocol, no klonishwa.
Well, my stage name is Smama, just Smama without the doctor. So I
Okay.
guess if we're having a musical interview, a music-related interview, then you'll call me Smama. But I think maybe I should just consider changing my name,
To
rebrand to Dr. Smama, because the interviews tend to be about both. It's never about
Okay.
just the music. It's always the music and medicine, and people always gravitate towards calling me Dr. Smama. So maybe it's something to consider.
That's part of you as well. So yeah. So before we get into the music and the songwriting, I want us to go back to Emakanda. I believe that's where you were born,
Yes.
and then you grew up at Gqeberha. Take us back to the youngest mama.
Wow. I don't remember much of the youngest mama in Makanda because I was still quite young, man. I left there after I'd completed my standard one. Yeah, I'm that old man, standards. Yeah, I had completed my standard one when we moved to Ekabecha. So most of my life in Grahamstown is kind of blurry. I was still, a baby,
Yeah.
man. I was still a baby. But Kabecha, I think that's when I started like being aware of my surroundings and all that. So I grew up there with my grandmother or raised by my grandmother and my aunt because my mom, when we moved from Wakanda to Kabecha, she remained that side because she was still working. So most of my childhood was really centered around my grandmother and my aunt. Actually, most people thought my aunt was my mother because my mom would only come like maybe once a month just to come and see that everything is okay. Things are in place. And so I grew up mostly with my cousins because now my younger siblings had also remained in Makanda with my mother.
Your mother.
Yes. So I grew up in that environment where really we're not cousins, we're like siblings. I mean, you're growing up in the same space, everything, you're
Yes.
sharing the same things, the
Yes.
same values and everything. It's not like your cousin that grows somewhere
Yeah.
else. So you just become that one family.
Yeah, and I guess in most African households, we don't see cousins as cousins, but
True.
as brothers and sisters.
True.
So yeah. So now, ukhulile wafunda. I believe ufunde khona eGqeberha, your junior, your secondary, as you guys called it back in the days.
Keep bringing that one up.
And so, where does the music come in now?
The music has always been there. I can't really pinpoint like a certain point in time where I would say, okay, this is when the music really started. So, I mean, I think it's like every other black kid. It's either you sing at church or in school. And yeah, for me, that was also the same journey. I was a member of a choir at higher primary school. We had a boys' choir. Yeah, black schools had boys' choirs as well. Eh? So we had a boys' choir. I was part of that. And then when I became a senior, then I went into the senior choir within the higher primary school setting. Then when I got to high school, then I became part of the choir that side. Then there was only just one choir, then the senior choir, and nothing else. So at church, I did sing at church, yeah. Funny enough, I mostly sang at church in Grahamstown, in Makanda, because there was a church, it was called Conquerors Through Christ. So when I was that side with my mom, she used to go to that church. Then there was a cell group, and I joined the cell group and joined the choir. And there was a brilliant lady that was leading the choir, Sis Nosakele. Like, I think she inspired me quite a lot. Like, she was this powerhouse. And every time I would watch her sing, I'd be like, wow, wish I could sing like that, you know.
Yeah.
And she actually gave me my first solo part ever in life.
Wow.
So I led a song, but I got stage fright on the day of the performance. The performance day came. It's a hall, it's full of people. Now it's the whole choir. I'm this guy that's supposed to be leading the song. And then, we go. And then my part comes, and I'm like, shucks, I don't think I'm brave enough now to do this. But I just sang the same part as everybody else in the choir. I was like, okay, just leading, but also singing the chorus and everything, because I was scared. But that taught me something as well, you know, Uguti. Even in fear, you don't have to just stop. You have to push.
Continue.
Do something that's just going to give people what they came here for. They didn't know what I had rehearsed.
Yes.
I think that's what I've learned from there, is that people don't know what you've rehearsed. So if
Yes.
you're making a mistake on stage, don't just drop the mic. Like, continue and give people something.
Exactly. So at that time, did you know, Uba, you want to pursue music as a career, or you were just singing as like any other normal child growing up in Makaya or Relokshin?
Yeah, I was just singing like any other child. I never thought that I would pursue this like on a professional level. I think it was until I was in higher primary school. Even then, one of my aunts, or my uncle's wife, which is my aunt, we call her auntie because everybody's an aunt. Yeah, so she would hear me sing all the time, and then I think she is actually the one that planted the idea. It was like, when are you gonna be a professional musician one day? Yeah, you're gonna be a superstar. Yeah. So I think that stuck. And then I remember when I released my first album, the gospel album in 2012.
Yes.
I actually took a copy to her, like, here it is, man. I did this. I did what you said I was gonna do at some point in my life, and here it is. And so it was never something that was planned. It was just me enjoying singing and just doing what I love, man, nothing more.
And then now, you're singing, you writing songs. When did the sharp curve now? When did that sharp curve took in?
I think being a doctor, that I've always known that I wanted to be a doctor. So there was never like a sharp curve, as you put it. It was what I always knew, that I want to be a medical doctor. So I was not just going to school because everybody else is going to school. I was going to school because I knew that eventually this is what I want to do. So I guess both of them just coexisted. That's just that at one point one would take over and the other one takes a backseat. And I think my life has always been like that all through my life, where at one point it's just the medicine and at some point it's the music, but they're always coexisting somehow. Together. Yeah.
Okay. And so Funda, AUCT now, you're studying medicine. I believe that's where you also formed a group, a gospel group. Tell us about that and that journey of medicine, and also trying to juggle to pursue this music journey as well.
Hey, I always say, music into aso.
Okay.
It's a calling. It's something you cannot run away from. So as much as I was doing medicine and really focused on medicine, but a part of me still wanted to do music. So now that's when I started going to music school. So I went to inquire about can I maybe do some courses in music whilst I'm doing medicine. They're like, no, dude, you can't. This is like a full-time institution. If you're doing medicine, you're doing medicine full-time. If you're doing music, you're doing music full-time. So you can't take like a few courses there and chop and mix. So like, okay. So I think on one of my visits to the music department now, to the music school, I met Nelson Manganyi, who was a pianist. I think he may have been playing something I was passing. I don't remember the specific, like how we exactly met, but I was there trying to inquire about all these things. So I went in, had a conversation with him, like, no, man, like, can I come and like work with you? Like, we can just play around. Like, I've got songs, we play around with those songs. And then he knew some ladies that were also doing music, so they came and joined in, or he approached them and they came and joined. And then that's when the band came through. So, and then we started doing my songs, like the ones that I had written, like my gospel songs. And because, I mean, they were already performing around the campus and also outside of the campus, then it was easier for me now to get platforms to just come and to go and perform as well. So that's how the band came about. It also, I feel, with this thing, sometimes when the universe wants you to do something, it will just make it happen for you.
Exactly.
Without you doing much. Because sometimes when we're trying too hard, then things tend not to happen.
Yes.
But when we let it go, but I'm not saying people should be just relaxed and say, no, God is going to take over. You have to also make, like...
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, do something, but when it's meant to be, it will just happen on its own.
Exactly. And everything has its own time and its own pace. And even at that time, it was supposed to happen so that you can get the experience and you can learn. So I guess it was meant to happen. Uba usiphilise ngokomoya through music, usiphilise nangokwenyama through the medical doctor profession. So I want us to get into the songwriting.
Yes.
Do you remember the first song you wrote?
I actually do. It was an R&B song. What was the title? It was an R&B song. I can't remember the title though. It was an English song. So, and yeah, I wrote the song. I played it for my friends, my classmates. And everybody assumed the song was actually dedicated to one of the girls in class.
Like, that's how most of our songs came. People assume, you wrote this about your crush.
Yeah. So it was one of those. It was that R&B song. I cannot remember the title now. And funny enough, I bumped into that song about 2 months ago. I was going through this little box that has all my archives. No, I'm old school. I have a box that has everything that matches to me.
Same as me.
Yeah, and so there it was. I was like, what? Yeah.
Wow. I guess, your story is similar to mine. That's how I wrote my first song. It was there was this advert on TV about coffee, and I started writing a song about coffee and this one girl I liked in class. And I went and sang it to her, and she thought, wow, what the hell is this? So, but yeah, I think that's how most of our songs, that's how most of us start writing. And then you continue to write until you find your message, until you find yourself into, okay, supposed to write about this. This is my message. My message is about love. My message is about hope, So you've also written for the likes of Berita, Tembisile Ndaga, Thulani Mngoma, Bonagele, Nokwazi. Those are just some of the few artists that you've written for. Tell us, how does it feel to give away? Because songs are like your babies, and now there's that time that comes and say, okay, here's the song.
Wow. Never really thought of it like that, as giving away, because I feel sometimes the message can be there, but it needs different vessels to take it to the other side. So for me, it has always been about, yes, the message that I've written. But now, I cannot sing all the songs that I've written, And sometimes my message can be put across in a certain manner by a certain artist, So for me, it's always been about making sure that I choose the right person for that particular message, you see. So you're not really giving away. You're just extending, this whole process. You're just saying, I trust you enough to tell people my story. In a way that I know only you can, that I also can't, you see. So you can't be selfish when it comes to art, because art is to be shared. The reason we're doing all this thing is to share with other people. So I feel, for me, giving my song to somebody else, it's allowing them and giving them the platform to have a part of me that they share with other people. The message still gets out there. It's just through a different vessel, I suppose.
All right. So when you pitching to different artists and saying, "Yo, here's a song I think would fit you best," and you don't receive the answer that you'd be hoping for, and sometimes you get discouraged and think, maybe I'm not a good songwriter, or maybe I'm not good enough. Have you been through that where someone says, "No, I will not be singing this song"?
Yeah, I've been like a number of times. The thing is, what speaks to me may not necessarily speak to you. So I'm approaching you from my point of view, thinking that this would work for Lucho, but would it really work for him rather? So it depends on where in their path the artist is, you see. So if, let's say, I'm presenting Dinceli Mpilo to Lundi and he's like, I've got nothing to Celi Mpilo for at this point in my life. So he's not rejecting it because it's my work or doesn't believe in my work. It's just not speaking to him at that particular point in time. It may speak to him 3-4 years down the line, and then he's like, okay, now let's do the song. And that's actually what happened with the song, even, because I had presented to the song him 2 years prior to when he actually did the song to be recorded and be in an album, you see. So I think, yes, if you need to be matured enough at some point about these things. I always say it's about applying for a job. You may have the skill and the certificates and everything, and the qualification, all those things, but you're not going to get every job that you apply for. Not because you're not a good candidate. You're just not the candidate they are looking for at that particular point in time. So with your song as well, it may be a great song, but it's not my great song, you say. Or it doesn't speak to me at that particular point in time.
Yes. You mentioned maturity, and I guess it's something that a lot of young songwriters need to have, because the moment you say, no, maybe I don't find something special at this song, or maybe the message doesn't resonate with me at this particular moment, and then people will start cursing you and saying, vele wena kade ngakubona ukuthi zenza ngcono. Yabona. So I'm glad that you mentioned that maturity, because when you pitch and you receive a no, it doesn't mean about you're not good enough as a songwriter. You just need to pitch it more. Maybe today you pitch it to Smama. Maybe Smama feels like, no, it's not for me. Then you move to another artist and say, yo, this is, until it finds a home.
Until it finds a home. And we cannot invalidate how they feel. We all go through that. I think, it is maturity, because you can only be mature having gone through those experiences. So it's an experience. And I'm not saying today, no, at the time, at some point in time, I was not disappointed. I was. But I had to make myself understand, you see. So it's a journey. So people have to go through that, the disappointments and the hurt and all that, because that's how you get to heal and now have this enlightenment to see, okay, maybe it's not. Now you look at it from a different point of view. That's why I would say people should go for counseling at times, because now you think I'm the only one that's going through this. And then you go to the songwriters that have had disappointments group, and then everybody tells their story. They're like, no, I've had too many doors shut at me before I got my first break.
Yes.
And then now you realize that, no, this is not a journey that is unique to me. It happens to everybody, you see. So podcasts like this actually do help, because now a child is going to be watching this and like, oh, but I approached Smama and said I've got a song, and Smama was like, oh no, this doesn't work. But Smama doesn't say why it doesn't work. He just says no, it doesn't work, and that's it. Now you're left to mend the pieces, because you thought this was the greatest song. This is like a hit, but
Smama said no.
Smama says no, and if it's Smama that's saying no, then it says,
it means I'm not good enough. Exactly.
Because
most of the times you pitch your best songs, and then if Smama says no, then it means no, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
So I think it's also important to build a community of songwriting, and that is one of the purposes of this podcast, to share these particular stories, to say, even if Smama said no, it doesn't mean that you're not good enough of a songwriter. It happens to all of us.
It happens to all of us.
It happens to the biggest songwriters in the world. They all receive no. You know, I mean, I'll make an example with Sia Fula. She's an American songwriter.
Yeah.
She's written songs for the biggest stars, and she has received a lot of no's. And she even has an album where all the songs that received no's, she has a particular album for all those songs
all the
that were
no's.
rejected. So I guess it's about building a community, and I think it's something we need in South Africa. We do not have a community of songwriting. We do not have a songwriting culture to say, yo, it's okay. I go through that too. It's okay. I go through writer's block too. You know, so it's normal. You don't have to feel negative about it. And I guess each and everything has its own season.
True.
As you mentioned that the universe will align you. If it's time, it will align you. You just don't need to force it.
Everything will just fall into place and be like, okay, what did I do now that I haven't been doing? You know,
exactly.
And also, I mean, I think it's important for people to know that for every yes that you see me getting, I probably have received like 49 no's. You see, and the thing is, I'm not going to be talking about that all the time with you guys. For me to have had this now, I actually knocked at Lucho's door, I knocked at so-and-so's door, and they said, no. I deal with my heartbreaks and headaches in my own space.
Yes.
And then when there's a yes, and then I'm out there like really
going
up and down about the yes, and you're thinking, no, I just knocked on one door and then everything happened. But it doesn't happen like that. And it's life, man. Life is... It's not just about music. It's life in general. Because it's the lessons we need to take from these things. That whatever happens in this musical space. Now, when I go into the medical space and I'm trying, let's say, to to start up a certain project, and then I pitch this idea to different people, and also that they don't like it, then I need to draw from that. But also in my other career, I've gone through this and had these no's, but eventually a yes came. See? So it's lessons that we should apply not just in music, but in life in general.
But also, I guess the beautiful thing about songwriting is everything will give you a song. Every moment will give you a song. So even if you received that no, Smama, those emotions that you are feeling at that moment will give you a song.
True.
So sometimes you just need to look at it in a positive way, and you just keep on writing.
Yeah, you just have to keep on writing. You have to. I had this. I still have the book. I told you I've got this box. That's got everything. It probably has like hundreds of songs. Some I actually go through them now, and I'll be like, okay, but this was not so.
What was I doing here?
Like what was I doing here? But yeah, but it's the journey, man. It's how you grow.
Exactly.
I mean, you don't start from starting from 0 to 100. There's 0, and then there's 10, there's 12, there's 13, and all that.
Yes. Speaking of a book, a songwriting book, a lyric book, I actually still have mine from high school, and I've kept it, and I've moved a lot from Durban to Joburg, you know. And for some reason, it stayed with me. I've never lost it. And this other day, I looked back in some of the songs I wrote back then, and I'm like, oh, this was not bad.
Yeah.
You know, and I actually burst into tears when I had a demo I wrote when I was 15. And I was like, yo, there's no way I wrote this.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a journey of discovering oneself and understanding your message and understanding what kind of a songwriter you are, because we are all different. And I guess if Smama writes about love, I may not be good in writing about love, you know, and also it goes with one's personal life experiences, you know, and the type of messages that you write about. I want us to come to, because you've been behind the scenes for a long time as a songwriter, and people didn't know you and what you do. but those who knew you as a songwriter, or some of the people knew or saw the name Smama on the songwriting credits. But now you took a step and saying, I don't want to be at the back anymore. I want to be in the front. I want the spotlight. I want you, I want you guys to see that I can sing as well.
Yes.
How long did it take you to finally say, okay, I want to sing now? I just don't want to write for other people, but I want to write for me as well.
Well, I guess it took forever. but as I mentioned earlier, I did have an album that I took out in 2012, which was a gospel album. But after that, I took like a 10-year hiatus and then came back.
It's a long time.
It is a very long time. Time flies, man. Hey?
Yo.
You're thinking I'm going to go away for just a year. The next thing is 5 years. The next thing is
10 years.
And the thing is, life happens. There's a lot of things now that are thrown at you that you need to take care of, you see, and there's a medical career that I need to take care of.
Yes.
And you put so much energies towards this, you sort of forget, maybe forget is not the word, but you put it on the side, because I didn't necessarily forget. I was still writing, but about being in front of the camera, it was something I was not even thinking about. Even now, getting to release the album, it was not something I'd planned. If you had asked me in 2021 and say, what are your plans for 2022? I would have said something medical. See? And that's why I'm saying sometimes it's just the universe dragging you and dragging you out of that corner to say, no, dude, you've wasted too much time now. You need to do this. You know? And that's what happened with me as well. So it was not a conscious decision that, no, this year I want to be in front of the camera and sing for the people and want people to see the songwriter that has been writing for all these people. For me, it was still me being in my own journey, because I was just having a party, having a party, invited an artist to come and perform, which happened to be my producer now, Ozugo. So that's how the whole album
one of the
came.
best.
Yeah, he is the great. He's the greatest of our time, eh?
Exactly.
So he was there. Now for me, it was just a normal day. It's my birthday, and I had asked her. Biela, he's played for Lundi and everybody else, all the gospel artists actually. Lundi, Kolega, Putuma, he's played for everyone that you can think of. So I knew him through Lundi. So for that party, I wanted to just sing for my friends, because I hadn't really sang for them in the longest of times. And now now I want to do something special. Let me have a performance for my friends. So I asked her, can we do something? We took a month just to rehearse, because I had not been singing in a long time. So I needed to prepare myself properly. As much as it was my friends, so I had to make sure that I give them something good.
Yeah, exactly.
And look where that got me. Because now Zuko happens to be in the audience. And then he had me sing. No, dude, no, we should do something. And that's how this whole journey started.
And let's talk about the album. What's your songwriting process like? Because when I was listening to the album, I had a lot. It's an adult contemporary album. But I hear different sounds. There's love songs, there's gospel. You sing about hope. Let's talk about the songwriting processes and the stories behind the album. What inspired you to say, I want to write about love. I want to write about hope. I want to write about faith. Like your current single, Tandaza, which gives hope and faith to say, whatever you're going through, Tandaza.
Yeah. I think the whole album is really about hope more than anything else. Because even with the love songs, if you listen to them, as much as I'm singing about love, but I am saying in you finding love, sometimes you find love in hopeless situations.
Yes.
Or you find love when you had given up on love. You see, so it's all about hope, but in different kind of settings.
I've given up on love.
Yeah, you see, no, if you've given up on love, you need to listen to Undivile.
I gave up on love long time ago.
Yeah, now, listen to Undivile, and Undivile, it speaks to that.
Yes.
About a person thinking they are invisible now, because nobody hears them, nobody sees them in the love space until somebody does. And they're like, oh, Undivile
baby, Undibona.
Yeah, Wandipindula, because you answered all these questions I had about myself.
So, yes.
You see. So for me, I love to give out positive messages. And there's no greater message you can give people than hope. Because hopelessness tends to walk with us every day. You find yourself, you spill this cup of coffee. You feel hopeless, like you feel like your life is just crumbling, and it's just you just having spilled a cup of coffee. There was nothing bigger, like there was nothing big to that. There was no force behind it that made you spill that coffee. It just happened because people trip and then the coffee spills. You see, so hope is what we need on a daily basis, because we are broken people and we're going through so much. And unfortunately, the older we get, the harder it becomes. So you need somebody that's going to keep reminding you that things are not as bad, or even if when they are as bad, they can always get better. So for me, I think also because I work with people that are always in need of something to hold on to. Because people come to me not necessarily because they've got a headache. They come to me because there's a reason behind that headache, you see. So my job is to find out what the reason is behind the headache and try to address that and give them hope in that situation. As to, okay, the reason you're having this headache is because your child doesn't want to go to school, and you don't understand. You're providing everything for them. You're making it like easy for them to go to school, but somehow they don't. When you had nothing and went to school, you see. So now you need to address and make them understand why that child doesn't want to go to school, and find a way, because I'm not going to know the answers. They're going to know, but I need to get them to that point, you see. So I guess for me, it sort of, it was a natural progression that I'm coming from this space. So when I get into this space, let it be in a continuity. As I'm saying, Uti, I think I am a healer through music and through medicine. So now, since I have always been dealing mostly with people like on the physical level, psychological level, now I need to get to that point that I cannot reach with my medicine, which is the soul. And how do I get to the soul now? Because I can say whatever I want to say, but if I'm not touching your soul, then you're not going to hear me. You see, then I brought the music into it, like, let's continue with this message of healing, this message of hope, which I have been imparting all my life through another career. So let's bring it now to the music, and I get to reach more people, because with medicine, I can only reach the people that come to me, or that's particular community that I'm serving. With music, I can get to somebody who's in Canada that needs my service, and I'm saying, here is my help to you.
Do you see how the both gifts align, the medicine and the artist? Because you've mentioned where someone would come with a headache and you find a reason behind what's causing the headache, you know, and even when you're talking about that now, I'm already thinking about writing a song, you know, that's going to give hope and inspire the person who has a headache. Isha, I want to ask, do you ever sing for your patients?
No, no. I think the reason I never do that is because I think I try and separate the two. Because when you're coming to me at that particular time in your life, you're coming to me because there's a reason. You probably won't even want to hear music at that point in time, you know. All you want is the doctor to make you feel better. You know? Yes, my music will make you feel better, but you're not open to that at that moment, in that space, you know. So I actually don't even speak about my music with my patients. It's always my PA that talks about it whilst they're waiting on the line there. She's like, no, but doctor's music out. No, see. So someone, they come in, they were like, oh, no, I hear you've got music. I'm like, I literally brush it off. I'm like, oh, yeah, I do. And then like, how can I help? Like, I move on like in seconds. I think, man, I'm trying not to abuse the space. I'm trying not to abuse the space. I want to give that space the dignity it needs at that particular point in time. I'm not saying music is not dignified, but at that particular point in time, you're not there to see Smama. You're there to see Dr. Smama. You see. So I need to give you Dr. Smama.
I think you should host a concert at the clinic or something for the patients.
Yeah, no, maybe I should, Maybe I should.
No, I'm going to call your PA and say, yo, let's organize a concert for the patients. So, yeah. Yo, Doc, I want us to get into the message. How important is it for you to keep your message? I mean, there's a lot of trends. There's a lot of trending songs, particular sounds, and trends will make you or force you to be out of your message and talk about what everyone is talking about. And how is important is that for you to say, okay, this is what the universe has given me to share with the world? How important is it for you not to follow what's out there and stick to the message that is deposited into your soul?
I think it's about understanding why you are an artist, why you are there. Yes, some people want the fame and the fortune, but is that all you want with your career? If you want the fame, yes, you have to move with the times and do what is current at that particular point in time, because you want to always be relevant to everybody. But if you want to say, okay, I'm here, yes, I would want people to know my music, but there's a bigger picture for me to be here. There's a reason why I was chosen out of other people to be here and send this kind of a message. So yes, these things, they come and go, man. But you want something that's going to stay and remain there for years to come. Something that I would look back to like, say, 20
years.
Yeah, 20, 100 years along the line. And I'm like, okay, that message that I wrote in 2024 about about self-doubt and self-sabotage, it's still relevant to me today, because those are things that I go with all the time. I feel at times that, you know what, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing things like the way they should be done, how other people are doing it. Because that's when the self-doubt comes. Because now there are these popular artists that are doing all those things, and you're doing something different. They're like, oh, maybe mine is not good enough, you see. So that message, though, is going to carry me through for the next 20, 30 years or until I die. So, yes, it is hard, man. I'm not going to make it sound easy that, no, because my vision has been this, then I'm sticking to it and I'm not budging. Yes, you can get tempted, but you always need to take yourself back as to, why did I start doing this? Because even I keep referring to this song because those lines I mentioned earlier were actually from that song. Because also it says sometimes things get blurry. That's what happens within the industry as well. You like, the lines get blurred. You're like, okay, should I be doing things because everybody's doing them, or do I stick to my vision and stick to what I feel? Because we evolve as people. Yes, today, that is what I'm here for. But tomorrow, I could be singing a different tune to what I'm singing today. Yeah. So I do not want people, when they hear me one day singing about drinks and the girls and the what, and they're like, what happened
popping
to...
bottles.
Popping bottles. And they're like, what happened to Smama? But the thing is, maybe... but I think now I'm too old to be singing about those. But you'll never know. Because we evolve, man. We change. And you'll find that at that point in time, that's what now my life is about, or what I've been open to, that space, you see. So I cannot say doing popular music is wrong. It is not. Because we're different people. Some people are just here to do just that. Do your popular music and you go. And that's it. We forget about you. or you'll do your popular music and still be relevant 10 years down the line, you see, because even then it's about evolution and moving with the times. So as a person, I think we like, as people rather, not even as a person, we like boxing ourselves and limiting ourselves. And that's where the danger is. Okay, I sound like that boss. The meme. That's where the danger is thinking that because I like water, then I should be drinking water all my life. And somebody tomorrow might just introduce me to champagne. And if I taste it and like it tastes good and I want to run with it, why not? So I do not like it when we want to box ourselves, because then it makes life boring, man. I can't just be this one-sided being. There's too many layers to us, and we discover these layers as we grow. So, definitely. Yeah, I guess for me, the answer to your question is a long one that I gave. But the answer is, do what feels right at that particular point in time. Do not be rigid about life.
During the creation process of ISIPHO, which is the name of the album, did you, besides the producer being Uzuko SA, did you work with co-writers on this album, or was just you only?
It was just myself only, except for Tanaza, because I'm collaborating with other artists, so they also came with their inputs to the song. But the rest of the album was just me. And the reason I actually called it ISIPHO was like a gift of love and hope. And if you look at the sleeve itself, I'm actually naked. So I'm laying myself bare because it really is about my experiences in love, my experiences with God, my experiences about life in general. So this one is very personal to me. So it is me giving people a piece of me.
Of you.
Yes, to say, get to experience more than just the face and what you see on social media. Get to understand how I view life, how I view love, how I view faith and God. And
and it's just you saying, here I am, bare and dusty.
Yeah.
Receive me
with all my flaws and all. Because I mean, one of the songs is really, if you listen to it, it sounds like I'm really addressing the next person, where I'm saying, if you look at that, if you listen to the song, it really is about insecurities and jealousy. You see, that's also a reflection on me as a person. You see, so that's one of the flaws, and until I acknowledge that there are those flaws, then I can never heal as a person, you see. And me talking about that is to say, I'm just like anybody. I go through those things as well. And yes, it may sound like I'm just, what's the word? Okay, I've been speaking too much English.
English.
Hey, they are depleted, man. and they just seem like I'm being confrontational on the song, but it's not about confronting. It's really a reflection on my own feelings.
Oh, okay. Because I thought, in fact, I was listening to the song this morning. And I was like, yo, I wonder ngibani lo mngani, ngibani le chomi ijonga umuntu wakho ngolo hlobo. Yabona. So yeah. I think it's a beautiful album, man.
Thank you.
It's a really beautiful album. I love the soulfulness of it.
Thank you.
I love when a song has that soul in it, where even now I can connect to it. Yabona, nam ndisifumane kuyo imessage obhale ngayo. And that's what I love most about in songs, and that's the first thing I look for. What's the story? What is he saying? Does it resonate with me?
Yeah.
Will it resonate to someone else? Because I believe that our stories as people are so hlukanga. We are not that different. We all are one story, and we all find ourselves into that story. So that's why storytelling and writing is so important to me, because I believe when we tell our stories, that's how we find ourselves, and that's how we find our identity.
Yeah, no, and I'm actually grateful that you're saying that because, I know I guess this is the song for me that really speaks to me in the album. That's why it's always easy to gravitate towards it and talk about it. Because when I hear you say that, now it takes me back to my thoughts about the album at certain point in times, because you write. It's not like you record the album all at once. You record one song here, one song there, one song there, and I remember when I actually recorded Ikayagum, which I wrote Cenga Umoya on the very same day that I released Ikayagum. And I was going through the feels on the day because, when people are excited about your song being out, I'm excited. Like I've been telling people that the song is coming out, the song is coming out. And now it's finally out. And now this is me sitting in my corner and I'm like, no, but I could have done this with that song, I could have done that song, this with that song. Like, no, this song is not so great. And that's how Cenga Umoya came out. Because I was like, or came up rather. I was like, I was like having this very dark moment when I'm supposed to be out in the light and rejoicing and happy, man. There's a new baby in the house.
I get what you're saying.
And here I am like nitpicking the song and everything. And I'm like, no, dude, you need to let go. You need to let go. And that's why Cenga Umoya, on that day, I really did to Cenga Umoya Wam and came out a beautiful song, So when you hear such feedback from the people, now it tells you, it actually validates you and it tells you, dude, you were just being
a perfectionist.
Being a perfectionist.
Like how we were talking off Uba, being a perfectionist can make you anxious about your work and think, maybe I'm not good enough, And I don't even watch my podcast because I know I'm going to critique myself and then I'm going to be anxious and saying, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. I should just leave this thing, So I think maybe in each and every artist, there is a perfectionist, and that perfectionist wants to perfect everything. And I guess in art, sometimes nothing is ever perfect.
Art is never perfect.
You just let it be as it is, as it came. It came to you in that particular manner for a reason.
Yeah. And the song Cenga Umoya is like 2 minutes 9 seconds. And the reason is, and people are always saying, why is it not longer? Like everything that needed to be said has been said in that song. So sometimes there's so much perfection and imperfection because people are used to long songs.
Yes.
And now I'm giving you 2 minutes 9 seconds and like I'm longing for more, but maybe you just meant to
hear that 2 minutes.
Yes, and that's it. And perfection. Being a perfectionist is what kills us as artists because now you're gonna spoil something that is so good because you're trying to take it to another level when it should not have been on another level. It was perfect as it was on the level in which it is at that particular point in time. And I cannot stress that enough that we need to really be grateful and also I think we need to be content because I think that's the biggest challenge we have. We're never content. And if you're never content, you're never going to be happy. And you're never going to be happy even with what you're taking out there.
What's your songwriting process like? Because each and every songwriter has a different process. Some, they would dream songs. Some, if I play the piano now, some would be inspired to write about something. Or some, if I hear certain chord, or if someone plays a melody or something, then something will come. Some will have to be around nature or whatever. What's your writing process like?
So random. It is so random. I really do not have a process. I'd be lying if I say this is what I do when I write songs. Most of my songs, they just come. I feel I don't know how to write a song. I don't know how to write a song when you ask me to write a song. It's the hardest thing for me. I've heard artists who are like, no, I want a song. Can you write a song for me? And I end up not doing it because it's just not who I am. And I've had people sending me like music That, no, please find me lyrics for this song. I've only done that twice. Even then, it took me forever to actually even get to a point where there's a complete song, because that's not who I am. For me, literally, songs just come naturally.
They need to come on their own.
They need to come on their own.
On their own time.
On their own time. Like, I would spend months without writing a song. And I'm not even bothered, because it's not what... for me, it's never about the quantity of the songs I have. A song will come at a particular point in time, and it has to speak to me, because sometimes it will come and I'll be like, no. I feel like, no, this is just too much. Oh, I'm trying too hard here. Let me just leave it. But when a perfect song comes... perfect in terms of when it really is what speaks to me, then I'll be like, okay, no, this is the song. And I think the process then would be, when that happens, then I need to pay attention to it and also now work on how to deliver that message to people. That's where now it gets trickier, because it may come naturally, but how natural it comes is that it may not be something that's very structured enough to be presented to the next person. So I would have, let's say, that melody coming and the lyrics, the first verse or the first two lines. Now I need to think how to make that, how to tell a story now that is in keeping with that. Because eventually songwriting is about telling stories, as you mentioned.
Exactly.
And if when you're listening to a song you get lost and you don't know what the message is, then there's no point in me having written that song and put it out there.
And also, I think the first verse are the ones that come easy.
They're the easiest.
And then when you have to go to the chorus and go to the second verse is always the hardest to write, because sometimes you feel like, okay, I don't know what to say anymore, you know. And sometimes that's just the beauty of the process, and just letting things the way they should be. If it doesn't come now, it's fine. Come back tomorrow. If it doesn't come now, it's fine. Come back next month and finish off that second verse to make it a complete song. And I think sometimes as creatives, we always rush the process of creating, you know. And you've mentioned your process of writing, and it's pretty much the same as mine. Like, I let things be at their own time. And what I've learned is that there's a season for creating. There's a season of just going through stuff. And in that season of going through stuff, that's the season where you will not be able to create. And that's why we have writer's block. But the most important thing is to just pay attention on the little things that you go through, because the next season of writing, that season will take you back to the previous season of the things that you were going through. And those things will inspire you to write. So that's why it's important to pay attention and to listen. I think that's the most important thing, just to listen.
Just to listen. And I feel songs that were meant to come to life, they actually will never die, because like in your mind. So if you, I've got a voice recorder on my phone, because that's what I use when the song comes. I will quickly go to my voice recorder.
At 2 a.m.
Yeah, no, I don't wake up. And the ones that I dream of, I wake up in the morning to not remembering those songs at all. So like, let's say I'd be driving or doing whatever, and then or working around the house, and then a song comes and I go to my voice recorder. Like, I probably have like hundreds there, and some I would actually even forget. I'd be like scrolling down. I'm like, what?
When did I record this?
When did I record this? I listen to it. And the ones that were meant to be, it will come today, and I literally almost every day it will keep knocking. Like, it wants you to finish it, and you will finish that song. Hard as it may be getting that second verse, but you will end up finishing it, because that song was meant to come to life through you at that particular point in time, and it will not let you rest. That's why I feel, for me, songwriting is just a spiritual journey.
Exactly.
It's a spiritual journey. So if it's not working, I leave it. If I write a song, I don't know what to say next, I just move on. I'm like, no, maybe it was not meant to be. Maybe when I'm scrolling down someday, I'll listen to it, and then something comes, because now it was not meant to be released in 2024. It's a song that was meant to be released in 2028, you know?
Yeah.
And then when you go through it, you're like, oh, there's this, and now you know what to say about it. You know how to finish it up. So I think we should not pressure ourselves into writing songs, because I can always tell a song that was rushed, because I like listening to music. So I can tell when an artist is trying too much.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is...
And I feel also sometimes I get what you're saying, and I know exactly what you mean, because some will give us an album this year, and then next year again you give us another album, and then it won't feel as authentic as the first one, because you can tell, Uba, no, this was rushed.
And they're taking so much from the previous one.
The one
Yes. That was an original now.
And you're bringing that to this one, and yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
And also, I think it comes back to what I was saying earlier. We should not be selfish as artists, because it is very important understanding who you are as a person. If you're not a songwriter, you're not a songwriter.
Exactly.
And being a singer does not automatically make you a songwriter. And now, because...
Preach. I always preach that.
And I think now, because we're forever hungry, man, so we want every little penny to our own pockets. Now, I'm not willing to come and say, Lucho, please write me a song. Or what do you have? Can I listen to what you have? Is it something that can work for the theme that I have for my album? Now I want to write everything, because I want every little penny that comes out of the album to come to me. But does it really? Because now you could have lost a lot by giving.
You could
me
have
the same
made
album.
more by just taking my
By
song.
just taking your song, you know.
And singing it.
50% is better than nothing.
Exactly.
If we're saying, okay, we're going to split 50-50, at least I'm getting something. Unlike I go for 100 and get nothing.
You see, and speaking of that, there was a story of, I'm not sure if I should mention it.
No names, right? No names. I don't want to be sued.
No.
I say allegedly.
No, it's an international artist. So
Still no names. It's a podcast, man. It could just land up on their
it's okay.
doorstep.
It's okay.
On their desktop, on their palm.
So this particular artist sang the song. So there was an original version of it. And then came this other artist and took the song and sang it as a cover.
Okay.
And it blew. And it made more money than the original version.
Yes.
Even the songwriter, who's also a singer, said, yo, she made me a lot of money with that song.
Oh, I know that one.
You know?
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
So sometimes it's okay to just allow someone to write for you. You know, maybe they'll make you more money than the songs you write for yourself.
Exactly.
You know, because you claim I'm a songwriter. You know, so yeah. And yo, man, this is a beautiful album. Coming back to the album, and it won awards. There was a best visual effects video at the EVMAs.
Yeah.
And then there was a best male vocal performance and best music videos in the Motors.
Yeah.
So how did that feel to say, yo, I can't believe I've taken a 10-year break from, and now this album receives such accolade?
Wow, man. I still cannot believe that has happened, or it's still happening, because I cannot believe the reception of the album. Like, people have been receiving it quite well. And for me, it is something I really am proud of. I don't want to be shy about that, because, I mean, you know, you do something and you're thinking, okay, I haven't been around for a very long time. So, and there's so much that has happened in the 10-year period. So
The sound has changed.
The sound has changed so much, you see.
Yeah.
And now I'm giving this to the people, and people are receiving it well, and it's being acknowledged, you know, as being one of the greatest works. And I mean, nothing can beat that for you as an artist, because it validates your work, man. It says you're doing something right. There is a right direction that you're taking, you see. And I think I always say, as much as we say we don't want external validation, but it does give you a boost. It does make you want to work harder to give out even better than you did the previous time. Because now, I think I've got a benchmark now. to say I need to work harder than I did with this album for my next project, whenever that comes. It can be another 10 years. No, I'm kidding. I'm
Please,
kidding.
please.
I'm kidding. No, it won't be that long. I'm aging also. I can't wait 10 years. But it's something that I truly cannot believe it's happening. For me, it really feels like a dream.
Again, the universe.
Again, the universe, man, we cannot take away the role of the universe because we are just vessels here. And that's why I'm not even regretting having taken 10 years off the whole thing, because maybe it was just not the time. And I get that a lot. Like my friends that know of their previous album, they're like, you like a totally different person from how you sounded at that particular point in time. Yes. So maybe I just needed that 10 years to meet the right producer to bring out the best out of me that people will relate more with than they did on the other album.
And also to grow in understanding your message.
Exactly.
Because sometimes I think you just need to mature enough for the universe to say, okay, he's now ready to write about this message. So
and also finding your voice, because I actually go back and listen to that album, because around that time I was hanging a lot around Lundi, and you can hear his influences on my music. So I think that's why maybe it never even picked up, because I was not really being authentically myself. It was more of the influences of him being around me. So, and it was a gospel album, and I've had songs where he would be there when I'm recording, so maybe even guide me at certain points. So now it's more of him than it is of me. And I guess most gospel artists have gone through being the Lundi or the Rebecca at some point in their lives, and then at some point then you get to find your own voice. So for me, I think that break gave me that, because now it had been that long not having released anything, and also it had been that long with Lundi being gone. So that voice has actually left my head, where now I'm trying to sound like him, not consciously even, but because you're forever around this person, then you will pick up those. You find, like, even with people who have been doing backing vocalists for certain artists, when they release their own music, you actually hear the artists they used to work with. Because that gets embedded in you, and you lose yourself in that process. And now when you give yourself the break to let go of that other person, then you come forth, and then you get such accolades, because now people can hear you, because they're not. I don't think anybody would be listening to my album and say they're thinking of any other artist.
Definitely not. And I also, it's like a baby, when you're a child, you try to be like your father so much. You try to be like your mother, and you want to do everything your mother is doing.
Exactly.
You want to do everything your father's doing. And then there comes a time now where you come of age and you start discovering yourself, who you are, what do I want to do. And I guess even in music, it's like that. And even when you start to write, your influences will be around the type of music you listen to, or the type of artist that you listen to. And that's why you would find maybe, oh, this sounds like so and so, but there's time where you grow and you find yourself, you find your message. I mean, I used to rewrite other popular song when I started, and I moved on to now to writing my own songs. And even when you start writing your own songs, you still need to find yourself. You still need to find your message. And one of the things I've learned is I'm not really good at writing about love songs. I've never had great experiences in love, so that's not within me. So I can't really, you can't really tell me, yo, Luto, ingoma yothando, man. I can't, because
maybe you should take the Adele and Sam Smith route. Talk about the heartbreak.
When it comes to love, I'll only talk about heartbreak. So that's the only thing I'll talk about. No, that's not me.
And the funniest thing, I feel most people are like that, and even with our audiences, people do not know how to relate to positive messages about love. people like the heartbreak songs.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a mirror of how we are as a society. And it's strange. I don't know if people have been hurt so much that they cannot be receptive of good things about
Exactly.
love. And I mean, we should be using love as a stepping stone to doing great things. And for me, I think that's why I choose to write about the good side of love. Because everything that we do, we're doing it out of love. And if you're not
Exactly.
seeing the goodness of love, then how do you then do anything else? Because for me to give great music, I need to love music. For me to be a great doctor, I need to love medicine. For me to relate well with people, I need to love people. So I'm really trying. I've been tempted at times, like maybe I should write about the heartbreak. I know everybody's gonna be like would want to listen to that song, but I'm like, no, that is not me. I maybe I'm just here to just give a different view of love and make people receive the goodness of love.
Yeah. And I guess you just need to stick to what you are given and just go with that. And even when when an artist tries to change and you're no longer that Smama. So even if you change and you grow with sound yako and you grow into your message, but still remain that Smama that we knew. So that even when I'm in a taxi or I'm at a shop somewhere and I hear a song, even if dingas ba ngubani oculayo, but I don't know. Oh,
Yeah,
Smama.
you hear it for the very first time and like, no, that's him.
That's him. So yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I fully agree with you on that one. Yes, I think for me, I do not like it when an artist give me the same thing all the time. Like I would hear the message is different, but it's still the same song. Because I feel like that's where now people get to oh, there's actually this. Okay, let me not go there.
No, go. I want to hear it.
I feel like with people that write, that only release music that they have written themselves, they tend to then just repeat the same thing over and over again, just different lyrics. You see, for me, it bores me. It bores me. And so I think, I don't know how one remains their true selves but also evolve at the same time. I don't know how best one can do that, which is why I feel the evolution is necessary, is very necessary, so that when you're listening to my album that I'm releasing now, it should not remind you so much of my previous album. I think for me, that is important, because now what's the point of having two albums if they sound the same?
Get you.
Yeah. And yeah, what I did not want to mention is what I was actually reading on Facebook today, the whole Fudumezo thing.
I saw that.
I feel sometimes as artists, we then Fudumeza our own songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And
so which means we need to, if you're an artist, you, in as much as you can write, because there are artists who are songwriters and can sing and perform, but sometimes they need to open room for co-writing.
Please. I have actually like consciously decided that with my next project, I probably will not write even a single song for that. Or if I do, I would make sure that I have somebody that co-writes the songs with me. That's going to give a different flavor to the song. Even go as far as even changing a producer. I'm very comfortable with working with Uzuko, but I feel at times if I go back to the same producer, the sound will be the same. You see, now you're going to sound like Smama is really recycling his music and just giving different messages. So I think I would like those collaborative efforts where now you get people giving a different feel to you, because it helps you grow as well. Now, if I'm going to be so comfortable, then there's not going to be any growth. Because now I know what when I go to Zugo, this is how we approach our songs, this is what we do, and all that. Yeah, man. So now maybe let me try somebody else, and that is going to work with Zugo to give us a different feel for the next project. You see. Also now, when there's that new person, is also going to take me to lengths, to heights that I never thought I could reach. Because that is exactly what happened with this project. Because I had never worked with Zuko before. So now he actually made me realize a lot of things about my own voice, which I never thought were there. And it also made me realize that I had actually been working more with music engineers than music producers, because now you get somebody that knows how to produce and will take you. We're like, no. So, like, I would bring a song, for instance, and say, this is how the song goes. The music producer's job is to say, yeah, as a songwriter, you've done your part, you've written the song. But now, how do we package this message to be good for somebody else's ear? Because I sing things that are good for me, that are good enough for me. But now you need somebody that's going to say, no, but can we approach it from this angle to make it even a greater or a better song, you see? So with engineers, yes, if I'm bringing a song, they'll be like, okay, that's how your song goes. Then they play, and then I sing, and at the end of the day, there's nothing new that I got from that relationship, except somebody playing for me because I can't play, and mixing here and there. But now with a good producer, then the person will be like, no, yeah, it sounds okay, but it can be better.
Yeah. And I guess that's why we need to collaborate more as songwriters, as producers, as artists, because as you mentioned, maybe I might know my limits, and sometimes there are certain things I would not know about me. But if I work with you, you make me realize certain things about me, and that opens up, and I get to grow and learn, And also, we need to understand that writing a song needs different collaborators to make it a song. It's like building a house. I think the job of a songwriter is just to lay the foundation, and that foundation gives direction on how this house should look like. And then the producer builds it up, and the singer or the performer paints the house and puts the type of windows that it needs, and maybe the engineer just puts the roof over, So, yeah, I get you. We need different collaborators to make one perfect thing. And it can never be just you alone, because if it's just you alone, there's something that's gonna lack.
Yes. I wish you could hear the original version of Tandaza.
I want to hear it. Please send it to
me. I wish you could hear. Like, it's amazing how the two songs sound so different. And what makes it so different? Because of collaborations. Because now you're having different voices coming into that same song and giving a different flavor. And you see how you can just take a simple song from one level to another by just doing a simple thing of not being selfish about it, and just work with other people to create magic, so to speak. Like, I listen to Tandaza now, like, okay, yeah, I thought that song was good. This one is just something else.
And also, what I love about the song Tandaza is, as you mentioned, the different collaborators, is everyone is coming with their own message, on their experience on hope and faith. You're coming with your own message about, okay, if you're going through this, be this, do that. And then you also get another writer who comes with their message from their angle and how they view things or how they see things. And I thought that was just beautiful, and it blended so perfectly together. Even the voices, and how you start, and then the next collaborator comes in. And I like that, I don't know what's the word,
some stepwise kind of
yes. So it's beautiful. So
thank you.
I can't wait for the music video, and I've seen you guys, the behind the scenes of what was happening. I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah. I think we took a route that nobody thought of, because I think for me, as I was saying, I try things out, because I do not like redoing things the same way they've always been done. You see, it's a creative space, man. We need to be creative. And if you do not allow yourself to do that, then why are you here? You see, music is about just creating magic in any way you think you can. And I feel as artists, we are creatives. Do not be scared to just do the unthinkable or do things differently. You see. So that's why for me, I always take conscious decisions about what I want to do. So for me, it was, I do not want your typical gospel video, and I'm not going to go for that. I'd rather not have a video if I'm just going to do things what's been done. Can I have a different way of relating my message? And I also would like when people have to think when they're watching the music video. Don't let everything to be so obvious.
Just bleh.
Yes. So watch the video and say, why this setting in the first place? You see, why did they choose this location, and why are they dressed like that? How does it relate to the song itself? So now I'm giving you a homework as a viewer to say, okay, I know the song, because when you know the audio, you know what you're gonna expect on the music video.
Yeah.
Oh no, okay, this is what is gonna be happening. But is it really?
So let the visuals tell its own story.
Let it tell its own story. You know how we used to read about Romeo and Juliet because they wanted us to be critical in our thinking and all that. Now let the music video be about that. I want people to be critical and even criticize, and say, why would he do that? Why would he do that? I think if there's no conversation, there's really nothing. Yeah.
So this album, it has won awards. What are your expectations of the project going forward?
I'm a person that like taking things as they come, and because I avoid stress. Hey. I run away from stress, and the only way I can do that is not having too high an expectation of anything. And not saying that I'm just doing things, but I'm always guarded not to put myself in a space, I'm going to feel trapped, and feel because I did not achieve this, then I feel like I failed and all that. So I think having won the awards, it's good enough. And if I happen to enter for other awards and I don't win, I don't want that to crush me. You see. So I think for me, the expectation is just to have people well receive the album, and it has happened. And yes, it'd be nice to reach a bigger audience. I think that's the only thing I want more than anything else. Just reaching a bigger audience with my music. The accolades and everything, those are the things that get us into depression, man. Because I don't think you writing music because your main aim is to win awards and be number one, because there's a message you want to put across. And the more people get that message, the better. I think that's my expectation.
So we've spoken about the creation process and all that comes with it. There's also the business side of songwriting, which is music publishing. How important is for one to know about, okay, this is what is expected and this is what I expect in return. I mean, you've written for a lot of artists and not just for yourself. How important is to understand the business side as a songwriter so that you can know, okay, this is what's due to me? Because I think we in Africa in particular, we haven't reached that stage of knowing about, okay, this is what I expect. And you hear a lot of people saying, oh, okay, no, I should have gotten this, How important is to understand that?
Very, very, it's vital actually, because at the end of the day, as you're saying, it is a business. So you need to understand how that business works and what is it that is due to you and when and all of those. And it's a process but it's things that people who are coming in now should learn right at the beginning. Because for some of us, I mean, I had written those songs. I knew nothing. It was just me liking to write. You know, I love writing, and I give you a song, and yeah, I'm going to get royalties. But now I didn't know about percentages and all those things. You get this publisher from a big company saying, okay, no, we'll just give you this. And you take it because you're like, no, I'm not about the money.
Yeah.
But now, man, we are about the money.
It's business.
It's business. So now with my growth within the space, what I did was actually go and learn. I even did a course with Samro that speaks about music rights and everything. So now I know so much more than I did back then. And it's only now that I'm doing this album the way I was like, okay, now I need to learn because now I'm doing things for myself and everything. I am an independent artist. And unfortunately, if you are an independent artist, it means that you're going to be the manager, the finance officer, the booking officer, whatever, like everything that builds that brand. And unless you go and study and equip yourself, then you're going to lose a lot along the way. And studying, I'm not saying go to some tertiary institution. There's a lot of information out there. There are a lot of organizations that are giving you the information, like your Samros, your Sampras, your PASA, there's like Capaso, all those things.
And there's Songwriters South Africa.
You see, I'm mentioning everybody else but you. There's Songwriters South Africa. So, and I feel artists can be very lazy. Artists, they're going to come back and say they've been robbed and all that because somebody did not do
this and that
on their part. And we rely so much on recording companies that we do not want to learn what is it that they do and so that you can equip yourself. You don't want to be a record company, but you want to have enough knowledge to know that, okay, this is what I as a person should be getting out of this project. And when you're signing those contracts, you understand exactly what it means. And also if somebody like the sync rights, so if somebody like some production is using my music,
what is it in it for me?
What is in it for me? If you decide to do my song 3 years down the line, what rights do I have as a person that wrote the song? Because, you know, the master rights, I think it's the one thing that people are always fighting about. Yes, because artists generally do not understand the master's rights, you see. So until artists take ownership of their work, like in terms of now acquiring knowledge, taking ownership is not just knowing that I wrote the song. Is like equipping myself into knowing that me having written the song, what then happens after in the business side of things. And unfortunately, I think sometimes I get frustrated because I like sharing this knowledge with people. I'll be like, okay, guys, this and that. You know, when you're feeling you're falling on deaf ears, like, okay, no, maybe it's just me trying to do too much.
And I think for the older generation, we cannot really blame them. But for us, as the new generation, whatever happens to us will be on us because the information is there, everything is there. If you can't afford to go to school, there's the internet. You know, so yeah, it would be really on us. And I mean, there's a lot of workshops and conferences being done just so we can learn. That's how I started to learn, you know, what is music publishing? Then I go research, what is music publishing? What does it do? How does it benefit me? You know, what is a master? You know, and then you go and learn what is a master, you know, and you attend all these music business workshops because they teach us. There are organizations like Samro, as you mentioned, you know, who give out courses. So yeah, guys, just go out there and learn. It's just about acquiring information so that you can learn and grow. And sometimes you don't have to go to school. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, organizations like Samro. I think people think Samro when they think money. Like, okay, royalties are coming. Then they think Samro. There's a lot you can learn there. Go to those. That's how I got the bursary because I just went to the site like through, like, okay, there's a bursary now to do this course. Applied, got it. And you get these things easily because people don't apply. People just don't. People think, okay, I just can sing and have my album out and that's it. But is it really? There's so much more, guys. I think the most important thing, man, with education, you don't stop learning. You don't stop learning. You may not use that information today, but 3 years down the line, it benefits you. So when you get an opportunity to do something, just do it. Just even if you think, okay, but what am I going to do with this information now? But you don't know. Somewhere down the line, you're going to need that different, and you think, shucks, I should have done that course. Would it be helping me now? Imagine one day I decide to have a record company. Like, I know nothing because I had an opportunity to do that course and I didn't.
You didn't.
Yeah.
Yo, man, there's a lot we can talk about, and Ixesha, you know. And before I let you go, I want us to just play a little game. It's called Top 5.
Top 5, okay.
Yes, Top 5 of the songs you wish you wrote, which are not written by you, which are not performed by you. Top 5 song. Yo, damn, I wish I wrote that.
Yeah. Hey, there's just too many, man. Okay. Nati's Liziwe.
Okay.
Love that song.
That's 1.
Liziwe. And Naima K. Tando.
That's 2.
There's Ringo. Nkonko.
That's 3.
There's too many songs. Oh, Putuma, I Will Not Be Silent.
Oh, that's one. Yo.
I Will Not Be Silent.
That was beautiful.
Which other one? No, this is, you're putting me on the spot, man. I can't think.
One more. There's one more.
I'm just thinking of my own songs. And Life Is Going On by Brenda.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can tell you're an old soul.
I am.
No, man. But, thank you so much for coming through and sharing your gift with us, sharing your stories, your writing processes. And yeah, thank you so much for coming through. And yeah, we appreciate you. May you continue. You're doing great.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me, and thank you for all those beautiful words, man. I'm gonna leave this place quite encouraged. Like, oh, dude, you are doing something there, and yeah, no, thank you for this opportunity. And I wish your podcast also grows, man. And,
thank you.
We want to come back here like in a year or so. I'm like,
with another album.
With another album. No, not next year. Not this year. Not this year. Not this year. This year is all about ISIPHO. Yeah. Let's say in a year or two to come. Yeah.
What would you say to a younger Smama who aspires to be a songwriter, who aspires to be a doctor, maybe? You know. What would you say to them?
Know yourself. Do not be easily influenced. And also stay true to your vision. Because, and especially in this era, if I were young now, I would say stay away from social media as much as you can. Because there's just too many of negative influence. It was meant to be a good thing, but it can be quite negative. If you are an impressionable mind, and as a child you are, every little thing can just sway you the other way so easily. So I would say to him all those things, that stay the course, man, and also be resilient and take the punches as they come and just go push, because life only needs that. It needs you to push even when it's hardest to push, you know. And always, I think staying true to your vision should be the one thing I should be saying. Staying true to what you want. You know yourself so well. And I guess they're intelligent, because if you know yourself, then you're going to know what is it that you want, and you know how to stay the course to get there.
What's next for Smama?
What's next for Smama is just music and music, music and music. I'm kidding. I think I really am getting to like collaborations kakulu. So that's what now I'm working at, doing collaborations with artists. There's a song that I'm going to be recording soon, before the end of this month, with another artist, and just pushing the album. I think for myself and my music, this album that is out now, it's just me pushing it and as I said earlier, I want to reach a bigger audience. So that's what I'm working at now. But whilst I'm doing that, I'm open to doing collaborations. So there's one that is coming up. And I mean, if anybody else wants us to collaborate, I'm free, man.
He's here.
I'm here.
Call him.
Call me, DM me, do everything. And if I say no, it's not because I do not like you. It is not. It's just
the
not speaking to
timing.
me at the time.
Yeah. So, Putuam, no, thank you so much for coming through and just sharing everything that you are with us. We appreciate you. May God bless you, and may you grow in everything that you do, and may you receive more accolades for your work. And yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
So where can people get you and the album?
Okay, album is on all the online platforms. Whichever one are you using, I am there. The name is Smama, Smama. It's a slang from my surname. So if you think Simama, just remove the I, and then that's my name. I'm there. The album is called ISIPHO. It came out last year, October, and I am on all socials. Twitter, I'm not so active. I'm scared of Twitter. So Instagram, I'll most likely respond to your messages on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram, I'm at _Smama_. Facebook at _Smama. TikTok at _Smama. What else is there? YouTube at _Smama.
No, thank you so much, Putwam.
Thank you
so much. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another songwriter, an award-winning songwriter. Thank you so much for tuning in to Story in a Song with me, Ulu Towa Walwana. We'll catch you next on the next episode. Make sure that you click on the like button down there. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share with your friends. And yeah, we'll catch you next time. Cheers. Thank you for
Yeah.
Thank you so much.